Good evening. How you guys doing? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yeah, so help me God. The road is a bumpy road. So help me God, yeah. We are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. Hello, hello, hello. Please say hi so we know who you are. Yeah, greet us, please, and let's just invite people to the live broadcast. We are now live, and today's topic is well, all topics that we have here are hot topics, but today's topic, I really think that we have a lot to learn, and we will be encouraged by the time we are done. Please say hi. We want to know who you are. We want to know who you are. Hello, 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 good people. I'm so happy to be here. And as I can see people coming through, let's invite people. Let's share the broadcast to pages. Let's share the broadcast with friends. And if you have a particular friend that you want to be here, just type their name in the comment section. And as always, Facebook is loyal to inform them so that they join us. Super excited. Today's topic, the price of entrepreneurship. That's the subject. And what we're hoping to do is to learn a little bit about the subject of entrepreneurship and really what it takes to make it in entrepreneurship. Let's hope we'll be, inspired. Let's share. Let us share. Oh wow. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Today's guest that we are going to be having, his name is Adv Owen Magocha. He was born in Zimbabwe and grew up in Harare and Gweru. He's from a Christian background. I'm sorry. Please just give me a moment. Sorry, there we go. I'll take that again. So our guest is Adv Owen Magocha, and he was born in Zimbabwe and grew up in Harare and Gweru. He is from a Christian and a legal profession, and he's a legal profession, and he's from a Christian family, and he's a legal profession and entrepreneur. He studied law at the University of Nelson Mandela University, and is currently doing a master's in corporate law that is due to complete this year. Yeah, there's a bunch of things that we're going to learn about him, definitely, but what I should do right now is probably just bring him on so that we can really kickstart this conversation. Adv Magocha, how are you doing?
Hi, good evening to everyone, and thank you for having me here. So
thank you.
Pleasure to be on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. And on the show, just call me Owen. Yeah, so Owen is
fine. Yeah. So Advocate Magocha, and I'm going to call him that because that's who he is. He's a brother of mine, right? And how we met, we've never really discussed that, but what happened is that one time I was working at Rhodes University, and it was during the student jobs that we do, and there was a man from PE, and he was talking about this guy that has taken PE by storm. And I was interested, really. I was just wondering, who is this guy? Apparently, this guy had owned the business of Nelson Mandela University and really the whole town of Port Elizabeth in South Africa. And I was just interested. and eventually we met. But I'm happy to have known you, and I know that today, the discussion will be really impactful and powerful. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Great. So to just start off, what we're going to do, you might know what we do on this broadcast. What we do is we want to get to know you a little bit, but we're going to twist the game that we usually play today and shift it a little bit, because we want to learn as we start, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to be giving you questions or choices, and what you're going to do is you're going to pick a choice, and when you pick that choice, you have to explain to us why that particular choice. This will help us get to know you better. And obviously, as the discussion unfolds, some of your decisions that you have made about life and entrepreneurship, they will become, more understandable. And that's what we're hoping to get. Are you ready?
That's fine. Yeah, I'm ready.
Great. So when it comes to this subject, would you prefer cash or credit, and why?
I prefer cash, and for the simple reason of being free from debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. Great.
Yeah.
Being free from debt. I mean, many young people, especially when we're coming from university, we want to get out of university, and the first thing that we do is buy a car on credit. And that leaves you with you for 5 years, and for some for longer, and for some you end up losing that. So you prefer cash and just being free from debt. Car or house?
I prefer a house. I'm not a fan of cars. As long as I move from point A to B, but at least a car is not an asset unless it's generating income for you. It's just a liability. But a house is an asset. It can generate rental income, and it can just be an asset. You can dispose anytime. So definitely a house.
Okay, great. Saving or investment?
Investment. Saving is really, playing with money. I can't have money that is the lazy balance. So I'd rather invest and get something out of it.
Lazy balance.
Yeah, because if you don't invest, still your money is going to be used. If you put your money in the bank and you don't invest it, the bankers call it a lazy balance. They are using your money, making profit, but you don't want to make anything out of it. So yeah, I'd rather invest than making savings.
Okay. Money or influence?
Influence is money. I'd rather go for influence, because with influence you can have anything you want. You can have anything you want. If you go for money without substance, because influence is substance, I don't think it's sustainable in the long run. So I would pick influence.
You pick influence. Okay, great. But just to kickstart, now we want to really get into the into the cracks of why we are here today. And please, people, please feel free to comment. This platform, we want to use it. Engage with us. We are interested in your comments. We're interested in your questions. We want to address those, because we want to leave here a changed people and empowered people. So please make use of the comment section. Please share some love. We can also see the likes and hearts coming through, and that encourages us. So be sure to also do that. But just starting off, can you just paint a picture of, I tried to read a bio, and something was happening this side, and a little bit of that. But I'm interested in really knowing who is Advocate Magocha and where is he coming from in terms of background. And, really, if you could just expand on that a little bit and say, if we were to go to Gweru, where you were born, really, what are some of the exciting stories that we can hear about you?
All right. Thank you. So my name is Owen Magocha. You can call me Owen for the show tonight. You can call me Owen. That would be nice. And then I was born in Harare in Zimbabwe, and I then later on moved to Gweru. So I started my primary school in Harare, and completed it in Gweru with my high school. And I did my tertiary qualifications in South Africa, and even my postgraduate studies, I also did them in South Africa. And I've always been very passionate about my background. I'm a legal professional, so I've always been very passionate about law, and also I have a passion for entrepreneurship. So I've always carried these two in my heart until today. That's where I am. I come from a Christian background. I'm a Christian, and I'm also very active in church and in ministry. Yeah.
Great. So really, when we start to look at where you're coming from and your background, what would you say are the experiences that pushed you towards business?
I can just give you like a background, short. I'll try to be very brief. So what happened is that I came to South Africa in 2007. I came to South Africa in 2007, and I was looking for opportunities. I had not yet gone to university. I just wanted to make it a point that I started working before university. So I started, I worked for one person. That was my first employer. This was an Indian guy. He was an Indian guy. No, he's a Pakistani guy. His name is Afzal. He's from Pakistan. I worked with him in a cell phone shop in Springs, Ekurhuleni, East Rand in Johannesburg. And, I was working with him. And as I was working with him in the cell phone shop, I used that opportunity to learn the business, to learn the trade, and to equip myself. I worked with him for, I think I worked with him for probably a year. And then it was almost less than a year. But the time I worked with him, I saved some money. I bought stock, I bought goods, and then I left my job. And then I started cross-border trading. I was going to Zimbabwe and Zambia. So I would buy stock in South Africa. And it was mainly cell phones, computer gadgets. So I would sell in Harare. If the stock is not finished, I would then cross again to Zambia in Lusaka. I would stay in John Lang in Zambia and then come back. So I did that repeatedly. And then I managed to open my first shop in Johannesburg. And from that shop, that's when Mimshak IT Solutions was born in Johannesburg. From that shop, I started an internet cafe. It was an internet cafe in Springs. And then, internet cafe, cell phone repairs, IT, and then the business started moving. And I was, getting very comfortable slowly and working. But I always wanted to go. I was still supposed to go to university. Yet I had already started this comfortable life. But with God's grace, I was enrolled in university. I started in 2010 in Nelson Mandela University. And then I had to close my business. I closed everything because it was not possible to run it remotely. And then I went to university. I did my first year. In my second year, I started the same business in the university. I reduplicated the same business in Port Elizabeth. Mimshak IT Solutions was born on campus. I would put posters around. Students would call me. I would pick up a gadget, go home, fix it, bring it tomorrow. And I was making good money on campus. I don't want to lie to you. I was very comfortable. As a student, I was very comfortable. But it came with challenges. And the challenges being to balance my studies and business. That was the biggest challenge. It was not easy. And I ended up studying longer than required because I took business as a priority. I would miss classes, fixing laptops, and I was studying law. And people would ask me, what kind of a person are you doing? You did IT, so what are you doing in law? But people would not understand. So I had an IT background. I was studying law. I was running an IT business. And, from there on, it kept running until I finished my law degree. And the business is still running. And then, you know, we started venturing into more other opportunities, and then that's how I managed to sustain myself.
Let me hold you there for a little while. So this Pakistan, you said, we can conclude that he played really a pivotal role in your life.
Yes, definitely.
Because you were there to work, presumably, but as you were working, you were also seeing what he was doing and how he was making money. And it's something that we lack most of the times when we are employed as young people and as people in general, that we should learn the trade and see how it can also benefit you as a person. And it's fascinating to just learn from you that, you know, your first contact with this Pakistan is what sparked that desire to actually also explore.
I can be very detailed.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I was earning 200 rands a week. You know, 2007, 2008, I was earning 200 rands a week. And as I was getting to learn the trade, I started running business inside his shop. I was running business inside his shop. Yeah. And I was renting an apartment that was costing more than my salary. You know, I would tell him, can I go and pick up a bed from the furniture store? And to thank God about it, he was proud of me. He was not jealous. He was very proud of me. I was living a life beyond my salary, and I was making that business from his shop, not stealing from him, but I was also learning the trade and getting my business outside of business. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I was very hungry. I was very hungry. I was very, 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 very hungry for a breakthrough in my life. I remember one time I was sitting in this shop, because, you know, these shops, you sit by the door, come inside, mama, come, got a charger, cell phone. That's what I was doing. But I remember one day there was my former colleagues from my school. They were former colleagues from my school. We went to, in Zimbabwe, I went to a very affluent school, in an A school. And these guys came into the shop where I was working. And, you know, they were in a hotel school and all that. They are buying. Owen, what are you doing here? You know, because, academically, I was very talented. I was actually, in my school, I was the highest art student in my A level. I had 13 points. I was the highest in my school, Guinea Fowl High School, 2006. So people know very well that I'm. So what are you doing here? You know? And after those guys left, I felt empty. I felt empty. And actually, there was one day I cried in the shop. I cried. Because I told my boss that, can I have 250 rands at least? And then he said, the guy who was working before you was actually getting 150. You are lucky you started on 200 rands. You know, I can't even increase your salary. So that was the background that I was coming from. That made me, you know, be very ambitious to really not live that life.
Yeah. A wise man about a few weeks ago, that is in my life, he said that do not despise the days of small beginnings, and I think this was true in your life.
That's true. Even today, we are very good friends with this guy Afzal. We are very good friends. When I go to Joburg, I always visit him. We are very good friends.
So I'm interested to hear a little bit more, because when obviously you started this journey, it was more of a hustle, and you know, we're known to hustle, and that's what you were doing. But take us through this process of how do you then convert your hustle into becoming a business that is, you know, stable and sustainable. What does that process look like?
That is not easy, but I say it's doable. It's doable. I think most of the young people, we believe that to run a business, you need capital. I started on zero, like zero, like hand to mouth. Like I get 1,000 rand now, I put it in. I think my first shop, when I opened my first shop, the rent for the shop was not enough. And my pastor then, I think she has passed on, Pastor Rudolph from Springs, she said, let's go to your shop. And then when we were going to a shop, because, you know, you told your pastor that I now got my own shop. She went to an ATM and withdrew 500 rands and gave me. She invested in my business, and that's how I was able to pay my first rental. And from there on, the biggest capital is the mindset. It's not even the money itself, because when I look back, some of the things that I accomplished, I couldn't even imagine how did I get this money, but I just rolled myself into this stuff. I rolled myself into this stuff. I started a business without the skills. I started a business without the qualification, but I never said I can't. I never said I can't. I'll actually get the job and then later find out how. And if I cannot do it, I'll get the person who can do it. I never let money leave me. I always made sure any client who came my way, anything they wanted, I would do it. Anything they wanted, I would do it. You know, that's how I tried it, because I realized you don't have to know everything. You don't have to do everything. Just get the right people who can do the job, and still you can make a sustainable business. So it was not easy to make the hustle become a business. It was just a matter of eating, getting good clothes, being comfortable, paying my rental, being able to travel to Zim and come back, but not really, you know, the place where you want to, the place of abundance. I was not there, but I was just getting by. You know, that's where I was getting by.
I wanted to get into this a little bit later, but I think since you bring it up, it's befitting for us to get into it now. This notion that a business is a separate legal entity, it has rights and responsibilities of its own. You know, it has to pay its employees, it has to cater for buying stock so that it continues to run. And the hugest challenge, especially when you're starting, is that you need that money to, you know, to buy clothes, you need that money to buy food. You know, there's not really that separation. And how did you manage to maneuver that space? Because it's really difficult.
Let me tell you, let me be honest. When I started business, I had no background of running a business. I actually learned on the job. Any money that came in the business was my money. Whether that it was the business, it was like, you know, the business is a legal persona, I'm a natural person, I have to run. I didn't even know that. Any money that came in the business is my money. And I'll just spend it like that. And when it's empty tomorrow, I have to run around. But look, I got this later on in life as I perfected, and I got involved in many more business, and you know, I got a lot of exposure. Then I later learned how to manage the business, but I just went inside. I rolled myself into things that I had no knowledge of, but I was running. I brought my brother, I was working with my brother. I brought my other brother, I was working with my brother. I brought my other relative, I was working with him. I was bringing all my family, working in the business. We're all working in the business. Most of my family members, their ground fit when they came into South Africa was in my business. That's where they started. And then when they became comfortable, they were able to advance and, you know, do better things in their life. So I saw it as a vehicle then to just be comfortable. But when I came to Port Elizabeth, that's when things changed. You know, when I was in Port Elizabeth, things changed. I became an academic. I became exposed, you know. Let me tell you something. When I was on campus, there was, because I put posters around that I can fix computers. I put posters around that I can fix your phones. And people started calling me with MacBooks. People calling me with iPhones. People giving me all the things. And you know what? I never said I can't. I would spend sleepless nights on YouTube finding out how to open this device and then learn it on YouTube. I was actually running a business with YouTube manual. And guess what? This thing, later on, I became an expert in this thing. I became an expert in this thing. I had to teach people. I had to mentor people. All my staff, that's why all my staff, I would employ people, I would train them, and then they can do the job. That's how I started.
So you're telling us that you were the one that was actually doing the fixing. You were doing the fixing yourself.
I was the master technician, the teacher technician, the manager of the business. And to tell you how this business worked, I recruited all my friends. Now I'm on campus. I've left Johannesburg. I'm now on campus. On campus, I recruited my friends. My friends who were studying law with me, they were my first staff in Port Elizabeth. I employed my friends. They started working in my business. They had no knowledge of IT. I was the head technician. So when people go home, I would come to campus because I later got a shop at the university. I got a shop at the university, which took me a lot of years. But when I got the shop, I'd come and do an all night inside the university.
Yeah,
I would work all night actually in the university, fixing all gadgets that were collected during the day. And then in the morning, my staff will be working, and then I'm not in the office, and people will be just collecting, collecting the money and getting the payments. That is how I started until I mastered the business. I mastered I mastered the skill. I became a serious technician. And while I was going to say,
I was going to say there's a point that you're bringing that is really interesting, and it comes to something that we spoke a little bit about when we were talking just before the broadcast. I was saying that I've learned, start where you are with what you have, and you didn't have the ability to put a poster up and say I'm hiring, but you had friends that also needed money, and that is innovation itself, to see that you can use the people around you to actually start something that can grow big, and starting with the people that are around you and where you are.
Yeah, I believe the biggest time to start is now. I mean, you can just start now. You don't have to wait. There's never a perfect moment to start. If you have an idea, if you have a passion for something, if you are really, motivated to do something, just go for it. Start now. You don't need a lot of money. Start where you are. Most people that believe that I need to get a fancy office with an aircon running and a secretary, with a rocking chair. No, you don't need all that. You don't need all that. You can start working from your home. When I didn't have a shop on campus, my house, like my student accommodation off campus, that was my workshop. I had a hot air station. I had screwdriver, everything. I had all thermal paste. I had all my tools in my student accommodation. That's where I was running the business from until I got the office later on. I didn't say, no, I need a shop first. You understand? So sometimes the best moment to start is when it's not even comfortable to do so. That's my opinion from my experience.
Yeah. We see the comments coming, people. Eleazar, Tryphin, Gladys, Shanti, Lutando, who also started her photography business with no capital. And yesterday we were, and no skill, actually, she says. And yesterday we're celebrating 3 years of that business. Natasha, James, we see you guys, and Mhlonitshwa. Apologies for that. And Lincoln, there's a question from Lincoln. He says, how does one determine whether he or she is, capable of starting a business?
You see, a business, let me tell you something from what I've learned. When you want to start a business, there are, I think I can say 2 or 3 parts for you to really determine if you want to start a business, from my experience. The first one is you can start a business based on your skill and your knowledge. For example, you studied photography. You can start a business based on the knowledge and the skill that you have. Sell your services, sell your skills, all right? That's another way to start a business. Look at what you know best and sell it as a service. All right, that's another part. But as time goes on, the more you are in business, you realize that business is not just about my skills. Business is not just about what I went to school to study for. Business is about fixing human problems. Whatever there's a human problem, when you bring a solution, that's a business. So you end up now diverting from what you went to school for, because now you are looking at opportunities. Now that's what we call opportunities.
Yeah.
If you open an IT business and you went to school to study IT, I don't necessarily call that an opportunity, but you have just upgraded yourself to start a business. But now, when you have an accounting background and then you venture into selling soap, you have seen an opportunity, you have mastered the window, and then you are venturing into that. So as time goes on, the best start is use what you have. Look at the skills that you have. And then as you master that, as you get experience in that, You can now look at any problems. In this city of East London, there's A, B, C, D problems. What if I come into this city and resolve this? That's a business. That's an idea.
Yeah.
Then you can go into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. So we've had where you started, and it's a funny story, but also really encouraging to start from nothing, to start from nothing, ending 250. But what I wanted you to do for us is just to paint a big picture of what are currently some of the ventures that you're involved in, so that we now see the whole picture of of where you're coming from. What are some of the ventures that you're involved in currently?
I think towards my final year of university, I was doing IT. On campus, I did IT, and the business outlived the campus. I still run the same business.
Yes.
And also, I started a driving school. I started a driving school when I was on campus, and the business outlived until I had to give it to other people to run the driving school. And then I started an immigration practice. Practice. And from this immigration practice, I just started in PE. I opened premises. Now I wanted to go for the kill. I wanted to go for the top, And I got my first commercial premises when I went to start the immigration company. I was running it as a consultants group. I was doing immigration. I was doing study abroad. I had also the driving school in that. I had also the IT. Remember the IT business, it later grew to the extent that I was fixing for other shops. I was contracted to fix about 3 Cash Crusader warranty gadgets in PE.
Wow.
About 3-4 Cash Crusader shops, fixing all their devices that are retained for warranty, and of course businesses and so forth. So I had to get big premises now. It was no longer a campus thing. So that's where I started my big premises. The immigration practice grew very big. It grew very big, and from being an immigration practice to just resolve issues for students, I wanted to just get students legal in the country. That's how I started. I just thought maybe, students, they need to get permits after graduation. Let me go into this business. But from that, I realized, no, man, this is actually a gold mine. And then I went into employees. I went commercial. And at the moment now where I am, the immigration practice is in South Africa. It is in East London. We are in Senton, and we are also in Zimbabwe. And there's staff in all these branches that we've gone aboard. We have started from South Africa. From the university, I got my first premises opposite the High Court in Port Elizabeth, opposite the High Court in Bed Street. It was about almost 80 square meters. That was almost 3-4 offices there. And from Bed Street, I came to East London. From East London, I opened at Senton in Rivonia. From Senton in Rivonia, I went to Harare, and I opened at Joiner City, 10th floor. It's like I think you know it. If you're in Harare, you have to know Joiner City.
Yeah.
It's like one of our iconic business centers. And from all this experience that I was going through, I realized that it's no longer about the immigration practice. It's no longer about the IT. And then I started venturing into lots of other. I started Mimshak Doc Assist, document procurement, because in my immigration practice, I realized that I had to contract other companies to do document procurement, unabridged birth certificate, apostilling, translating documents, with foreign languages. I realized that we needed to go to Pretoria for government departments. We needed to go to the embassies. And then I said, okay, I'm cutting all those people. I'm opening my company. And then I opened my own company, which is a document procurement, which means my immigration practice and the document procurement are working together. And then to bring two branches. And then I said, okay, we need to go further. In my business also, there is we pay a lot of people to collect. I use Skynet to collect visas for people, to collect documents for people, to send parcels. I said, hey, why not? Why don't we start our own transport and delivery company? And then we started Mimshak Express. I said, why don't we start our own transport and delivery company? We started Mimshak Express. With Mimshak Express, we collect visas. We send parcels to Zimbabwe. We send parcels to other countries. It's a courier. It's an international courier company. We pick from your house. We send it everywhere. It's growing. It's a new baby. It's growing. But I mean, we are now looking at solutions. It's no longer about I studied law. It's no longer about I know IT. Now we're looking at providing solutions. If you look at the expat population in South Africa or foreigners, that is a very big market. And I've always been targeting those people in some of my business ventures to provide solutions to them. They need to send food to their families abroad. They need to remit their salaries to their families abroad. They need to collect some. Look, in East London, people come to Port Elizabeth for visa processes. So when they go there, they can't travel all the time. I just go and collect all their documents for them. People can't go to the embassy to embassy. People can't go to Department of, to DECO. People need police clearances. All those things we revolved, and it became very broad. That's how, it kept on growing. And then the ventures are endless.
Yeah, are endless. I was actually going to say that. I was actually going to say that you're actually forgetting some of the ventures that I personally know of. So those of you that have been following the page, you would have seen that we now have a brand new logo. We have full branding, and that was courtesy of Legal Biz and the man that is behind that is Owen again. So thank you very much to Legal Biz. Is it Biz Legal?
Biz Legal. So the team actually from Biz Legal is run by Lincoln. And he's actually in this show. He's actually in this show. We should give a round of applause for Lincoln. Link Media is our partner, and they do all the branding. And we should give a round of applause for them. So we have Biz Legal as well. Biz Legal. We thought about most businesses they struggle with compliance. And some from my experience, I've also struggled with a lot of compliance, and we realized that there's a lot of need. We draft contracts, we do legal advisory services. Before you enter into a venture, before there's an amalgamation, you want to partner with someone, all those business, even company registrations, registering a patent, an idea, and all that. All business-related compliance matters, we do it in the Biz Legal department, and it's also a standalone entity.
Yeah, right. I just want to get into something else, take you in a different shift a little bit, and I understand that in order for one to really stay in front, you have to be innovative. And one thing about being innovative is that you need to take risks. So I want to understand how you managed, taking risks, and were all risks that you took calculated? Were they always calculated?
You know what? The biggest risk is not taking a risk. That's the biggest risk.
Wow.
The risk itself is not a risk. I hope you get me. I hope you understand. The biggest risk is not taking a risk, because when you don't take a risk, you just remain where you are. There's no room for growth. There's no room for opportunity. And let me tell you, I've taken big risks. I've taken serious risks that when I look back, I say, wow, do I even have the guts to do that again? I've taken serious risks. I've taken risks where I paid so much money, so much money for business premises to start a venture. And then if you want to think 1, 2, 3 about this money, what's going to happen? What if I don't make it? What if I make it? I just overlook all that. Risks are calculated, of course. They are calculated, but I always take the risks.
I'm just looking at some of the comments. People are going crazy in the comment section. Keep them coming. The biggest risk is not taking a risk at all. Oh, that hit me so hard. That was James Maisiri. they say no pain, no gain, no risk, no reward. So I guess that speaks to that as well. We have Rodney Makarutsa. He says we all have the same 24 hours, no excuses. The biggest risk is not taking any risk. Again, from Tasha. Amazing. But I want to, there's something that you mentioned when you were starting, and it also marries to this thing of risk that you just mentioned. When you started, you said that it's a mindset issue. And I want to go back to that and say, what kind of psychology do you need for you to be successful in entrepreneurship? And I think that's really important. What kind of psychology do you need for you to be successful?
I think people, they differ. I mean, each person can always have their own different path, but sharing my experiences might also give an idea because there is no formula. There's no formula. But you see, sometimes your mindset is, I'll give my example. When I want something, when I think of a, if I tell you, if I show you something here, you'll be very much shocked. You know, I've got my iPad here. Yeah. Let me give you this example. You know, I just want to show you something, and then I'll just explain. Your question. You see,
keep the hearts coming, keep the likes coming, keep the comments coming. Engage with us. Yes.
My phone, when you look at my phone here, this is like my business folder here. In my phone, I have more than 40 business proposals of business that I have not done. I'm not planning to do them tomorrow. I'm not planning to do them next week. But these are my meditations. And when I say this thing is going to happen, I start picturing myself every day discussing about this idea, reading about this idea, researching about this idea, researching to find out, what do people who do this business, what do they have? What does it take for someone who's doing this same kind of business? What does it take? And I research. I mean, in my business, I had to go, how did Takealot make it? And I realized, oh, the CEO of Takealot used to run in this business. I was talking of my delivery, the delivery service that I started now. I started researching. Your psychology, actually, when you want to start into a venture, you have to put all your energy. You have to research. You have to read. You have to ask. You have to consult. You know, you have to use any material that is closer to you, that is exposed to you, that can give you direction in this industry that you want to go into. You cannot say, for example, you want to start a transport industry, and you don't even consult anybody in the transport industry. You don't read about it. You don't see the news about it. You are not in any community or forum. You don't network with people in that regard. So I believe for you to be involved and to start a business, it starts with your imagination. It starts with your passion. Anyway, passion is good, but passion is not good enough. Passion must be directed with wisdom. You cannot just have passion without wisdom, you know? So the wisdom will come from the material that you digest. Give yourself time to really see the picture of what you want to do. Because a lot of people, they have big ideas that can change this world. A lot of people that are walking on the street, they have ideas that can change this world. They have ideas that can fix our human problems, and our lives will never be the same again. But we can never know those things because those people do not give it attention. They believe that, no, man, I've got this idea, but it's far-fetched. You know, this is for people like that. You just have to do it. You have to do it. So your psychology must be focused on what you want to do. If you want to do a baking business, you have to know about the flour. You have to go and read about flour. You have to know about the yeast. You have to know about the sugar, egg yolk. You have to know about the mixing. You have to know, you should have a mixer. You have to do the extra knowledge. It's not a matter of, you know, it's automatic. I'm a businessman. I'm here. You need to be competitive. So to be competitive, you need to be knowledgeable. To be knowledgeable, you need to read, study, research, and get the right information. Go to offices. Offices, there are departments that you don't even pay money. There are departments, government departments. You know, you have to invest in your personality. You have to invest in your personality, invest in yourself. Because when you make this investment, you're going to make a profit. So why not invest in yourself? Before you pay money into the business, before you pay the rent, before you buy chairs, before you buy an office desk, first invest in yourself. Do you know what you're about to go into? That's the drive that I take. I would rather buy a book. Let me give you an example. I recently started a drilling and exploration company. We drill boreholes. It's just exclusively in Zimbabwe. Drilling and exploration, geological surveys, sighting, drilling boreholes.
Yeah.
Now, before I even venture into that, there was a book that I wanted, to share with my team. And this book is just a book. It costs 6,000 Rand. It's just a book. But on eBay, the book cost 6,000 Rand. But there was no way I was going to start and equip these people without investing in this book. I'm not going to buy a driver. I'm not going to buy diesel. I'm not going to buy any branding, any poster, without first investing in the knowledge about this business.
So my family also watches this, and usually they say, yo, the way that on much of the shows, the way you'll be saying, it's too much. It's just because when you guys are speaking, the guests that we have here, you speak power, you speak fire, and I can't sit still in my chair because I'm motivated, I'm invigorated myself. It's really exciting. There is a comment from Chido Wasah. She says that, in other words, it's not the education in its formal sense. It's not university. It's not technicon. It's developing yourself. It's investing in yourself, and that's what we're getting. Lincoln, invest in your personality. You're the best investment. That's from James Maisiri. But those that are leaving, please don't go yet. We are about to get into, we have not even started. I just wanted to hit you with a follow-up on what you've just been saying. So, you know that when you are trying a lot and when you're taking risk and when you're doing all these things, there's a lot of room for failure. How did you yourself deal with failure? If you can just take us through that. How should we be dealing with failure?
I think when it comes to failure, you have to learn. There's what I learned. It's called, I don't know if that is an English word, stickability. Stickability. Yeah. Stickability is to endure hardship. And when you meet failures, or when you come across a failure, take it as a learning phase. Take it as a learning phase. When you want to look for a job, you understand? I'm just giving an example. The reason why they'll tell you that we want 10 years experience for this job is because they want someone who has had many encounters of failure and managed to resolve them, such that when it comes to their job, he has already encountered different types of failure situations, and now he knows the answers. So the reason, actually, that's all why people request experience for a job. They want someone who has had challenges and has accomplished them, or even if he didn't accomplish them, but now he knows the solution. Because from a failure, you get a lesson. It shouldn't be a break. Because if you don't fail, what kind of person are you? I mean, are you human? Because you cannot get it right the first time all the time. Because remember, you don't live in isolation. We live with people, and we don't control the whole world. We don't control the human beings. You don't control people. Yeah. So there are people who are going to disappoint you. Yeah. There are government departments that are going to turn you down. There are companies that are going to refuse to pay you, and then you fail to pay your employees. You just have to accept it. There are employees who are going to steal from you, and then you won't be able to pay your business, and then some might even get broke. So at the end of the day, all these series of failures are just equipping you so that in the future, when this comes again, you already know the reference point. So when I get a failure, it's painful, it's a setback, but from that setback, I rise. I don't sit there and wallow, and you have to endure hardship. You have to endure hardship. Yeah. Sometimes I just give some people say, hey, these people, they are not paying me enough. I'm not receiving better salary here. But you know that in that business, they don't normally do that. you understand? The business is going through a phase. Some people just quit the job. I'm not going to work for these people. They missed my salary yesterday. You have to endure hardship. Because this series of failures, you're actually equipping yourself for the future. Even your business, you might run the same business as your employer in the future. And with all the experience of failures, you are fully equipped.
Yeah. Oh, that's powerful. Powerful. Failures are but an opportunity to learn. Take them as lessons. And that is the message that is coming through. I wanted to get into, and we want to get towards the end, but there's still issues that we need to tackle. When we started, we spoke about social capital. What is the role of social capital? Because I think it's an important factor. Can you just expand a little bit? How important is social capital when we speak about success in business and in entrepreneurship?
It's very, very important. We are human beings. We live in a community. We don't live, I've said it again, we don't live in isolation. You need to have good relationships. You need to have a strong network. It can be a very strong, influential network. Look, after university, I'm just giving a word, after university, don't delete the numbers of your former classmates. Those people can actually hold big doors for you in the future. It's called networking. And your networking actually is your net worth. Your networking actually is your social capital. Because when you have these relationships in very strategic places, they are actually very influential to your business, to your venture. Like right now, if I want this kind of venture, I know who to call. If I want this kind of service, I know who to call. If I want this direction, I know who to call. Because without social capital, it is with social capital, you get trust. With social capital, people can listen to you. With social capital, people can depend on you. With social capital, people can actually have a reference to say, we know Owen. We have seen him in Port Elizabeth. He's not a ghost. He didn't just show up in this place. So we can vouch that he can actually do this project successfully. You need social capital. So don't strain your relationships. If there are any challenges that you encounter, go back to those people, talk to them, fix that with them, and make sure that you have, a clean slate. I'm not saying it's easy, but I also try to do that. I always try to do that.
Yeah. There's something that I really want us to discuss, and if everything else, I'm skipping some questions because I know our president is going to be addressing us very soon. But there's something that I really want to address before we go. These days, especially our people, there's this pull him or her down syndrome. And I know yourself, I've seen sometimes where people are trying to actively pull you down. It seems as if we're in a competition, and yet we need one another to be stronger. Can you speak a little bit about that? What should we be doing as a people? Because I've seen, I'm just going to give an example of the Indian community, or even the white folks. They're very good in supporting each other. And when it comes to our people, there's this competition unnecessarily so. How can we change this mindset?
I think to change this mindset, people just need to understand that you cannot be in competition with any person, any race. You can't be in competition with any person. You can't be in competition with a person you don't know his background. You don't know what he's been through. You don't know where he's getting his money. You don't know, his secrets. You don't know how is he capacitated. You can't be. The biggest person that you should be in competition with is yourself. You must beat the man that you were yesterday. You must beat the man that you were, because we live in, I've said it before, if you listen to my other message, I said we live in different time zones. We live in different time zones. Some people can actually graduate their degree in record time, in 4 years, and spend 3 years without a job. Someone does a degree in 7 years and gets a job just after graduation. It's not about competition. We just have to run our own race. We live in different circumstances. We don't eat the same food. We don't live under the same roof. We don't listen to the same music. We don't read the same books. We don't watch the same TV programs. We are engineered. We are engineered differently. We are raised differently. We are brought up differently in different family environments. So if you are ever tempted, to be in competition with someone, you have to reflect and look back to yourself and say, the man that I must beat is the one that I was yesterday. Run to beat your past and to develop yourself to be a better person. With other people, be inspired. It's good to be inspired by what other people are doing, but don't be in competition. I have a lot of people who inspire me. You inspire me, for example. You inspire me in many aspects, but I'm not in competition with you because you are running a race that is different to mine. You have your own path, your own dreams, your own ambition. How do I come to compete with you? I want to go left and you want to go right, and then we compare ourselves. We can't. You know, it doesn't work.
Wow. We are running different races, different backgrounds, different experiences. We are not running the same race. We are not in a competition. I think those are really powerful words. And as we are really trying to round this discussion up, the famous question is on this broadcast, if you've been following, is really a question of how should young dreams and aspirations in business this time, because of obviously the topic, be supported. And not only to end there, I want to ask you, who should be supporting these young people and how should they be supported?
I think from my idea, number one, parents must nurture their children. You know, don't just send kids to school for the sake of being in school, just to say my child is a graduate. We are going through, you know, an industrial revolution. Some qualifications that we are so proud of today, there will be worthless piece of papers in the near future. And as parents, the first point of contact to inspire your child, expose them to the right direction, information, and career path, and not just to let them be, you know, say, oh, my child, I want them to be free. They choose what they want, but they can't choose without content. You need to give them the content. You need to guide them. That's why you're a parent. You have to guide them. You don't just send them, let them be. So I think the first point is that parents must play a very big role in influencing the young people of today to be entrepreneurial or to be just impactful in all aspects of their lives. And then we come to the individual itself. What are you doing about the future that you want to be? What are you doing about yourself? Because nobody owes you anything. Let me tell you, no one owes you anything. The government owes you nothing. Your parents owe you nothing. Your uncle owes you nothing. You are responsible for the person that you'll become in the future. So if you are the only person that is responsible for yourself, then you have to take initiative. You have to take initiative and do what you have to do. And you know, everybody knows what they have to do. We just don't do it, but we know exactly what you want to do. And lastly, just go out and network, be involved in programs, government programs, private occasions, network, be involved, get the exposure that you want, that is available in your community or in your environment. But don't wait for them.
This is really powerful. Number one, parents, you have a role to play. That's what we are getting. If we have parents that are watching, and myself and Owen, we are fairly new parents, and
yeah, we are
and congratulations on that once again. And actually, whilst you were speaking, there is a man that I listened to, and he says the father or parents rather are a source. So if you leave them to decide without the source actually feeding them information so that they can make, you know, a just and reasonable decision, then you're leaving them to, you know, to perish. And the second thing that you said is that yourself, you should be focused and you should know what you want. You should know where you want to go. And the third thing that I got from you is to say, get involved. And what I just want to add on to that is to say, money and people that can support follow an idea, and what you should be doing is make sure that your idea is being heard. You put your idea out there and you see that, you know, the source, the finances, etc., etc., it will follow an idea. So get involved. That's what Owen is saying. Put yourself out there. Engage with government. Engage with people that are able to make a difference. In the spirit of sharing, and you spoke about the book that you recently bought for your workers. Do you have any book that you would like to share with people that here that they should read, and why particularly that particular book?
Basically, I wouldn't, because if I do that, if I recommend a book, let me give you the limitation with that, the shortcoming with that. If I recommend a book, I'm limiting you to exploring. I'm limiting you to exploring. I'm limiting you to, and look, there are millions of literature material in the world, millions of literature material. Some you don't even have to buy. You have to just Google and get free books, free PDFs, free websites that you need to. What I can advise is look at your trade. Look at your trade, what you want to do in your life. Look at the career path that you want to follow. And then from that background, channel yourself to research information that is in that direction. Channel yourself to research. If you're somebody who is passionate about aerodynamics, then you have to make sure that you're going to watch aerodynamics shows, you're going to buy aerodynamic magazines, you're going to go to companies, to people that are involved in that industry, because you have to read books about that industry, because there are billions of literature material out there, and you have to narrow it down to your interests. You have to narrow it down to your interests. There's no one size fits all, because we have different needs, we have different interests. For example, I might be requiring something to do with finance, you know, or somebody can do a Rich Dad, because you want to go into that direction, but it's not the same for someone. Someone is looking for something in a completely different dimension. So if you know what you want, go for the relevant information in the field that you have an interest in. It's really available. With a click of a button on a phone, you can bring about all the information for free. Even on YouTube, there are videos for free.
This is powerful. And really, we are getting towards the end of this. People, what we did today is we started a challenge or a competition. It's for fun. It's really not about the money. We are trying to grow the page so that we can reach more people, because such conversations, we cannot be selfish enough to keep them to ourselves. So we need to reach a bigger audience. And so that competition is live. Please, 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 please support. Go there and just type a few friends. It's not about the money. Once again, it's about getting to more people. But Owen, as we are about to go, can you tell people where they would find you, and just give us some parting words? And already, just before you come in, I can see people saying we want part 2. So people were really, glued into what you were saying and the wisdom that you were really giving us and sharing with us here. But where can people find you, and parting words from you?
All right. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, Owen Magocha. And for my business, if you just look at Mimshak International, anything to do with Mimshak International or Mimshak Express, you can just inbox us on Facebook. We are also on LinkedIn, on social media. If it's to do with immigration, transport, career, business, drilling, whatever you need, in our scope of business, we'll definitely be able to assist you. And my parting words is that, if you are really passionate about something, don't be apologetic about it. Go for what you want with all that you have, because you are the only person who's going to be with you the rest of your life. So don't listen to what people say. Don't listen to what the neighbors say. Don't listen to those who tried and failed. I mean, there are many who have tried and failed, but we're here. There are those who went to law school, they didn't graduate, and I was told you will not finish, but I'm here. So just because somebody failed doesn't mean I'm also going to fail. We are also different. So that's my parting shot. Go for what you want with all you have, and don't be apologetic.
Go for what you want with all that you have, and do not be apologetic. Thank you for all that we're here and supporting and learning. I think at some point in time, we're going to have to start to bring notebooks, because some of the things that are really discussed here, they're powerful. Yes, of course, you can come back to the video and watch it, but maybe we might need to bring, thank you very much, Owen, for being with us, and really we appreciate having you. And I personally have learned a lot from you, and really appreciate this hour that you have spent with us. I am hurt that there are many questions that we didn't get to explore. And some of the work that you do, maybe we need a part 2, who knows? But thank you very much. And yeah.
Yes. Thank you for
all that.
Yeah. Thank you.
To all that are watching, please like and follow and share the page, and please get involved with the competition. Thank you. Please, let's go and listen to the president. As I said, our president, and by our president I mean Cyril Ramaphosa. Anyone else that is well, my president is Cyril Ramaphosa. Let's go and watch what the president has to say. And thank you again for tuning in. Much respect from me to you. Thank you. Good night.